Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. This is Uncle Wayne, and tonight I've got one I've been trying to get for a long time. He dodged me a little bit, but we finally got him together. No, I'm picking with him. I got Joe Devito on here tonight. This is going to be great. Got a lot of big stuff to talk about. A lot of good conversations going to come on from this, and I'm fine. I'm super thrilled we finally got on here together and get a chance to talk.
Yeah, man, it's life gets in the way of everything, doesn't it? It's like crazy how fast the days go, but you feel like you never get anything done.
Oh yeah,
So,
it seems like throw a remodel in the middle of it, and it's just
yeah,
yeah.
I know. It's like I just give up, man. I just want to go hide in a corner somewhere for a while and just take a break. But but
I can
but I
relate to
appreciate
it.
you. Oh yeah, I appreciate you having me though, brother, for real. Thanks
Oh
for
yeah,
taking
man,
time.
I've been waiting on this one a lot because everybody for the backstory. Me and Joe's been trying to plan this thing for about 8 months, and he started remodeling his house. I was remodeling mine, and every time we try to get something close, it was had another sheetrock project, and but we finally got everything done, and we're on here again tonight. So I just want to kick it off. FDIC 2026.
Yeah, man, I've been blessed, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anybody who's in this job who gets out there and teaches and puts out information has a great responsibility to the people, I think. And I think sometimes people seem to kind of forget how lucky they are. You know what I mean? I don't mean like all the time, but sometimes it's just like you just feel like you're in the groove and just bouncing through it, and then you finally sit back and you reflect and you're like, bro, I can't believe I've had these opportunities, and I wouldn't have had it if it wasn't for my mentors. I think anybody here would say the same thing. Everybody here had somebody get them somewhere,
It takes a
and I
village, right?
oh, for real, for real. And I'm the idiot. I'm not gonna lie to you. But and my brother Andy Starnes, he took me under his wing 15 years ago or so, and I'll tell you, I'm still learning every day, man. Every day. He puts stuff out, and I'm still sucking it up. I'm still following. We got a bunch of guys out there. Gavin Parker, he's dealing with some medical stuff. He's out of Australia, and you stay strong, brother. Thanks for everything. And Manfred Keene, he's out of Canada, of course, and he's a Bullard guy, and so it's like there's a lot of people out in the field who's doing thermal imaging now, and it's
Hmm.
cool because it seems like the more voices that are out there, different people are picking up the messages,
Yeah.
and that's really weird because you're like, oh man, this guy puts everything out, I think everybody's on him, and then like I put something out and or Gavin or anybody, and they're like, wow, this information is brilliant. It's so cool. It's so different. And it's cool because if you only learn, in my opinion, the same thing from the same person without any other backstories, ideas, experience, I think you're kind of shutting yourself into a box.
Hmm.
Like I always say that well, that term, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? But I don't even, that's true, but that's not what I say. I say that if we got a swing in our backyard, right, and we play on that swing all the time, and that's all we know, and that swing breaks, we're not going to know what to do,
No.
you know? Which is why it's so cool to get out and listen to all these different people talking about the same topic, even, you know? I, bro, you can listen to Rob Ramirez and Basil, both on Mayday stuff, bro, all day, da, 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 and I walk away with a headache because my mind is blown with everything. But it's like there's so much stuff out there, and it's so at our fingertips now. You just have to want to go find it. And yeah, man, I've been blessed with opportunities, and it's all because the people who helped get me there. I mean, if it's not for them, I'm just a regular dude working in the back of well, working in the front of a rig now. Been a while, but yeah, it, I'm, I don't think anybody's special. I just think they care a lot. If that makes any sense.
It makes 100%. It makes a lot of sense. And that's the majority of everybody that's on the circuit, and even if they're not on the circuit and they're just teaching one class at a fools conference or something, is they are overly passionate about what they what they talk about, what they teach,
Yep.
and they just want to get information across.
Yep.
None of us. I can't talk tonight, but none of us set out to say I'm going to be on the national circuit, which I'm not.
No. No,
But
absolutely.
all of us were passionate about something and had a message that we wanted to share with everybody, and that's where it all comes from. And I like the way you kind of spearheaded it right out the get go is on the reflection, because we always have to reflect no matter what. It's not a, let me try to think of the way it was explained to me because it made perfect sense. I don't want to screw it up. It said it's a privilege for us to be able to stand in front of people and share information. It's not a
Beautiful.
privilege for them to be in our presence.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I get people in my class and I'm shocked they want to see me because you look
Yeah.
around and who else is there? And I'm like, wow, I'm blessed for you wanting to take time out of your day to hear what I had to say.
Hmm.
And that's unreal, and that's anywhere. You talked about starting even little conferences. I'm not, and this isn't all about, presenting and stuff, but we're just on the topic. Teaching your own department.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell everybody in my department, find something you're passionate about. Find something you love. Find something you want to dive headfirst into and soak it all in. Soak it all in. Find people out there to teach you. They're everywhere on social media. And everybody I know who presents wants to help.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you reach out, they're going to be honored that you reached out to them, and they'll be more than happy to try to help with whatever they can.
Hmm.
Um, but I tell all my guys, I say, start learning whatever you want to learn and dive into it and learn everything about it, and then start presenting it to us because I'll tell you, you always want to try to make yourself better, your crew better, and your department better. And I always say in that order,
Yeah.
you know.
And
So,
it's a constant battle, like you were saying. You're always learning
mm,
consistently.
oh yeah, brother, I've been in the field since 1991, and I'm still going to conferences. I'm still learning. I'm still reading. I'm still soaking in information, no matter where I find it, because the day you stop learning is the day you need to move on.
Hmm. Yeah, and most people that are successful teaching, mentoring, inspiring, that same sentence comes out of everybody's mouth because it's 100% the truth.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's true, and like I said, I'll never take it for granted, brother. Never. You know, I've been blessed with opportunities for writing for Firehouse. Pete Matthews took me under his wing back in the day, and he gave me opportunities. I taught at Firehouse Expo, Firehouse World. He has been a wonderful friend. I'm not even going to say mentor because he's my friend too. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's done a lot for me. And then of course I got a chance to teach at FDIC and write for fire engineering. I mean, my thing about it is that every step I took from teaching in my department all the way up to Firehouse Expo, FDIC, all these things, each step was something very important to me,
Yeah.
no matter what. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm in this little conference, and I only have 10 people. Bro, I'm going to teach the hell out of those 10 people. And I like it even better because I could sit down and actually take time and explain and show and have conversations. It's hard to teach a big room because you're like, okay, cool. Who's listening? Who actually cares? And it's hard because you want to try to make sure you get the point out to everybody, and not everybody responds the same to how you speak or the tone you use or what you say. So it's like I find myself kind of sometimes repeating myself, but trying to use different words
Hmm.
to just to try to get the point across if I feel it's really important.
I can understand that. I can relate to that a lot. And
Yeah.
the one I taught last week, awesome little conference. Man, we were pre gaming. I was telling you about it and stuff. Really small crowd.
Hmm.
But the thing about the small crowd done is it made it where it was more one on one, deep thought, deep
Yeah.
conversation, really getting into it. And it it gave me the chance to dig so much deeper than you would normally if you had 100 people.
Well, yeah, 100%, 100%, and you're getting feedback from them,
Yeah.
like right at the moment. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And that's really cool because that's the connection that I wish I could make with everybody.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Because, I thrive on back and forth conversation. I've never even, when I'm teaching, I've never been the person that I'm just going to stand up and lecture, 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 and that's what it is. I thrive on that back and forth
Hmm.
because, you know, I'll never forget it. When I first started teaching, I was talking with Rob Ramirez a lot, and the biggest thing he ever stood out, or the biggest thing he told me that stood out to me, and I'll never forget it, is he's like, you need to know your topic so good that you can put a picture of your dog on the screen and you still teach your topic
Oh,
because
100%.
you're the presentation, not the
Yeah.
PowerPoint. And
Yep.
then but whenever you can have that intimate moment between the people sitting there talking and you presenting back and forth, that's a win.
Oh, absolutely, it's a win, and I'll take any small win whenever I'm doing something like. And when I'm in a class, I say if I take one nugget away, it's worth my time.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, when I teach and I can actually help one person and make their job better, whether that's to me is huge. Like I started teaching at the Great Florida Fire School. I actually helped run it for a little bit down here, and I taught, and it wasn't a big conference. It's a little area, and I never forget that I had a letter from a guy who told me, "Hey, I want to thank you for everything. I was third due on a job. They weren't able to find the fire. They were doing whatever they were doing. I took the tick. I found everything. I found the flow path. I knew exactly where to go. I followed the convection because convection equals direction, and pow! And I made the other two trucks look like idiots. And I was like, boom, job done. Because
yeah,
that's what it's about. It's about helping people become more efficient and more knowledgeable and safer.
yeah.
I mean, I know people don't like the safety thing, and I understand that. I mean, there's times for everything, but I rather be make educated decisions.
There you go.
With the information that you can get, and thermal imaging gives you an extra set of eyes.
It's it's another tool in the toolbox.
Hmm.
I mean,
It's not
and
gonna it's not gonna replace your skills, brother. You know that. I mean, you still need to have your knowledge, skills, and abilities of being a firefighter, but it's gonna enhance those.
think of how much. And I know we could talk for a week about this, but look at how much is changed from when they first come out when you were walking around with a 13-inch black and white TV versus what we got now.
Or the one that went on your helmet and it felt like it was like a 50-pound block on your head.
I never played with that one. I
Oh
didn't
no,
do it. I mean, the
I'm in the
first
same
one I had, it
position.
was almost as big as my laptop, like I was walking around
Yeah.
with it. But
Well, I actually started in '91, like I said, and I don't remember even seeing a thermal imager until like maybe the late '90s, early
and we
2000s.
started seeing them in the early 2000s where we
Yeah, I
are.
say late '90s, early 2000s, and but the technology was there, like
Hmm.
long before that, and anything with technology is always going to improve. It's always going to get better. But the problem is that everything else gets better except the student.
Yeah,
And that's the problem is that if the student doesn't know what they're looking at or how it actually works, I tell everybody, hey, this is a I don't know, $1,500 cell phone, whatever they are. I don't even know. It's like $30 a month for the rest of my life or something, right? And if all I do is dial a number and hit send, right? I'm not using that tool to its fullest capability.
yeah,
You know, this thing could schedule, could do all these things. It could, you know, do so much more than just make a phone call. Well, guess what? Every tool in the toolbox has that option. Look at a Halligan, just a
hmm,
basic Halligan. Look at it. It's a tool. But what's it have? It has so many different things that you can do with it based off of the tool itself. And if you don't know what they all do, what each part of the Halligan does, you're never going to be able to use it to your advantage.
that's true. And the biggest thing, and you said about the student was, you know, we can't always blame the student a lot of times because a lot of times it's the instructor. Because how can we get the student excited about learning
Mm.
if the instructor is not excited about teaching?
No, that's true. That's true. I know you're big into this like mentoring and teaching thing. That's like got your name written all over it, brother. Um, but my thing is even further. I go back to nobody ever knows what they don't know until they find out they don't know it.
Yes.
You know, like
Hmm.
all the thermal imaging cameras out there, I could guarantee you that I can't say nobody, right? But I'm going to say over 90% of the people who are listening to this has never taken a formal thermal imaging class. All right. What happened is they probably walk in the door, it's on the truck, or the apparatus, whatever you're riding on, right? And you're like, what does it do? Right? I'll tell you what happened to me when I saw it. They said, hey, this is to find heat in the walls when it's done, when the fire's over. I said, okay, cool. So
I
it's
will
like,
never forget the first two things I learned about a thermal imager when we first got them, because the guy that was selling them was going around showing them, and I'll never forget it. The two things he showed to start off with. The first thing was he showed us the LP tank outside. Hey, look at this! It'll tell you exactly how much fuel's in the tank. I'll
mhm.
never forget that. And then the firehouse we were working in was a block building, and he said, "Now look at this," and showed us, and you could see where the concrete was poured
Oh
in the
yeah,
block wall, and he's like, "So this will tell you if you got to breach a wall, where's the easiest place to breach it at?" And I'm like, "Man, that's pretty cool. So what does it do for a fire?" And
yeah,
then
yeah, 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 yeah.
that was the
Exactly.
first two things he showed us, was how you could see the fuel level on an LP tank and where to breach a wall.
Well, you know what?
But
Because it helps. It helps sell cameras. I'm a salesperson. But yeah. I mean, it's something that it can do that they can show you to make you go ooh ah. But
mhm.
again, like there's no formal thermal imaging classes given by the distributors. I mean, they could always tell you like, hey, you could talk to Andy, you could talk to Manny, you could talk to Joey, whatever you want to do. And of course, we'll do stuff, but it's and there's a new NFPA coming out that's gonna or is actually starting or came out. I don't know. It's I'm not big on the NFPA stuff because I feel like I'm trying to keep up with it all the time. But there's a new one out that puts all of the tools together: thermal imaging, ladders, all these things, right? And that's a new one. But what they're looking to do with thermal imaging is they want to talk more about like how the camera works, and that has to be part of the training program, which is huge. Because like if you don't know how something works, you're not going to know how to use it. So if they could put that into an NFPA, I mean, if people looked at NFPA 1408, they would die. So it's just talking about training and maintenance and care. Like,
Mhm.
hey, guess what, man? Your batteries don't last forever, you know? And it's like, they're like, oh, this is a piece of junk. It dies right away. Yeah, the camera's 5 years old and you haven't changed the battery once.
Yeah.
You know, it's like things that we don't think about because no one is familiar with the tool, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're exactly right, because, as an educator, I know a little bit about a little bit. There's a lot to learn in what we do. So I'm constantly studying on stuff all the time because I get asked questions and I've got a constant answer. I don't know, but I'll find out. That's my
Yeah.
constant answer a lot of times. But, you know, think about a Pumps One book. You know, we've got a whole chapter about pump theory, why the pump does what it does and everything else. Look at how much is in there about a thermal imager. Since we're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
we're going to talk your cup of tea.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of material whatsoever other than saying use one.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Like
course. Of
we
course.
so I'm a huge advocate of, we need to get these formal classes about thermal imagers. This makes or breaks a lot of things. It makes us where we are well educated, where we can be good thinking firemen. It gives us stuff we can't see with our naked eye. But
Yeah. This is actually a good boost into talking about the cameras as a whole. If you're down with that, I mean, I have
yeah,
no problem talking about some stuff. Um,
well,
what, what,
I'm a huge guy of stay in your lane, and
oh yeah, yeah.
thermal imagers ain't my lane. I'm good on instructor development, mentorship, stuff like that. So I
Well, I,
figured we'll talk about cameras with Joe, because why not talk with the guy that's teaching cameras at FDIC?
yeah. Well, I
Right?
appreciate that. Thank you,
Oh
brother.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's start with something easy, right? Awareness level versus diagnostic. I don't think people understand that there are different types of cameras out there, or imagers rather. There's different types of imagers out there, and everybody thinks like, hey, you know what? I have this little FLIR. It's good because I could throw it in my pocket. I throw it all in a lanyard and go around with it, and it's good. And they're cheap. They're like $2,000 a piece, whatever the K2s. And guess what? We're gonna buy all the trucks are gonna get K2s. All right. So now what you're doing is you're getting everybody an awareness level camera, which is good. All right. But awareness is made to do what? Is to find out flow path recognition and find your way out, egress. That's the big things, because I'll tell you right now, that if you're looking for my wife or my daughter, you better not be using that awareness level camera in a search, because that's going to have better resolution. It's going to have a better screen. It's going to have a better refresh rate. It's going to have things that the other awareness levels don't have. Like you could have a 320 by 240. That makes it a diagnostic resolution. But if you have a 160 by 120, that's awareness level. So when you go to refresh rate, anything under 25 hertz is going to be an awareness level camera.
Okay.
Everything above 25 hertz is going to be a diagnostic camera, okay, or decision-making camera. What else is there about and then like the screen, anything under 3.5 is going to be an awareness level camera, 3.5 inch, and anything above a 3.5 inch is going to be a diagnostic or decision-making camera. And the thing is that when you look at this, all those things have to all be yeses. So is the resolution over this? Yes. Is the refresh rate over this? Yes. Is the screen over this? Yes. This is a diagnostic decision-making camera. All right. If it has, hey, look, does it have the awareness? Does it have the decision? Is it over this in resolution? Yes. Does it over this in refresh rate? No. All right. Does it have a screen over 3.5? Yes. This is now an awareness level camera because its refresh rate is under 25 hertz.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
got to meet all three of the criteria. And the reason why is because a diagnostic camera is like looking at a UHD TV, right? Versus a old black and white with the pliers that I used to use back in the day. There's a big difference. So like if you're looking for if you're looking for my mother-in-law, you could use an awareness all day. I don't care. But
I was fixing to show our age because I was going to say dial up versus cable.
oh yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, man, it definitely makes a difference, and you want the best for the people out there.
Yeah.
But guess what? It also costs money.
Yeah.
And not everybody has that availability. So it's like I always say that if you could get a grant for something, a thermal imager is the way to go, because even if you just get one diagnostic on the truck, it makes a big difference. And then you can get the little awareness cameras for each riding seat or whatever you want to do.
I know there's a lot of places that are getting the little small ones, and they're
Yeah,
actually mounting them on the packs.
yeah, and those are great. I actually really like Seek, and I'm going to talk about the gains and stuff next. We'll talk about that. Okay, remind me, because my ADHD is everywhere tonight. And my pill apparently wore off because, but yeah, there's so much to the cameras to know. Like, who even thinks about those things? Like, does anybody think like, hey, you know what? This camera has to have this resolution, or this is why, or you know what I mean? Like, we don't think about that stuff. We're like, hey, look, can I see the heat? Yeah, cool, I'm taking it. But they don't
Yeah.
understand the importance behind it. So like if you have a 160 by 120 resolution, you see a child's hand from seven. I actually learned this from Killer Flashover. If you guys don't know them, you need to check them out. They're really good. But I actually heard that 160 by 120 is going to show a child's hand from 7 feet away. All right. 320 by 240 can show a child's hand from 15 feet away.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Big difference.
Twice the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important to me.
That's across a standard bedroom from one
And
to
that's what I always say. I said that if I could see a whole bedroom, that helps. You know what I mean? Like if 7 feet and all I see is like the end of the bed, that's not doing me not much. Yeah, that's a big difference. And the new one's out, 640 resolution. I don't even know what we're looking at yet. I gotta find me a kid to hold the hand out so I can measure it or something. But yeah, it makes a huge difference, and people don't understand or know this stuff because it's not common knowledge, and they don't know what they don't know until they find out they don't know. Like let's talk about the resolution real quick. The resolution is like the refresh rate. All right,
Okay.
we talk about hertz, so it's like anything over 25 hertz is going to be a diagnostic decision-making camera. Anything below 25 hertz is going to be awareness level. So think of it like this. if you have an awareness level that has a 9 hertz refresh rate versus a thermal imager that has a 25, 30, or 60, that's a big difference from 9. Okay, now a movie, like a motion picture, is 25 hertz refresh rate speed. All right, and we're looking at 25, 60. That's a big difference. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and because if it's slower than a motion picture, what's going to happen to your thermal imaging camera? It's going to freeze all the
Yeah.
time. It's going to freeze all the time. You move too fast, it's going to freeze. Well, just so everybody knows, anytime you change your gains, which we're going to talk about next, right? You're going to remind me, right?
Yep.
Every time we change our gains, it's going to freeze normally, because what happens is that the shutter drops so that the eyes can refocus, basically. All right. So if you move too fast, you get lightheaded and dizzy. The shutter drops, the eyes refocus. Think of it like that. I always say I'm old, right? So I bend down to tie my shoes and I get back up. I'm lightheaded and dizzy. I close my eyes to reset, and there we go. Now I could focus again.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And these are things that most people probably don't even think about when they're looking at thermal imaging cameras. They're just like, hey man, cool, it looks good. It's within our budget. We're gonna run with it. Because I always hear, hey, why should I buy one of these when I could buy 4 of these?
Yeah. Well, because this one will do what all four of these combined won't.
True, 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 100%,
But then,
100%.
but then sometimes, and you hear the argument all the time. Well, I know I can buy these four, but then that's four people inside working that have one if they've got to find a way out or something
Mhm.
like that. And it
And I get that.
yeah.
It makes sense. But what are you doing for the people? Okay, I got you. You ready? Check this.
Yep.
The chief of the fire department has a fire in his house. All right, his
Mhm.
wife and kids are trapped. All right, sir, I want you to go ahead and buy those 4 awareness level thermal imagers, and we're going to go find your kid and your wife. Oh, now it's happening to you. It's a different ball game, huh? And that's what I try to do, is I try to put it in people's plates to understand.
Oh yeah.
Hey, would you want this camera that can do all these things and give us better advantages in flow path management, search, size up, whatever you want to use it in, man, versus these that are used for egress and flow path, you know?
Kind of rolls back to the same aspect of you look at somebody and say, if your family was trapped, would you want yourself searching for them?
Yeah, yeah, true.
It's kind of the
It's a
same
reflection,
mentality.
bro. It's a reflection.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, it's a reflection.
Hmm.
And we need to do that a lot with everything, not just, I think in life we need to reflect on things too, because sometimes we get a little biased in our thinking, and we need to refocus, and be like, wow, I'm just so set in my way on this. There's so much more out there that I can learn. I got to open my eyes.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say that the big argument I've had a lot with a few people lately, not very many, but a few, is the whole social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is the worst thing that ever happened to the fire service. No, social media is the best thing that ever happened. The worst thing that's ever happened is being too closed minded to use it for the tool it can be used for. Because
Brilliant.
how else could I sit here tonight and talk to Joe Devito, who knows more about thermal imagers than I will ever learn and can and be able, or the the people that are going to tune into this podcast that maybe did not even know there's a difference in between the different kinds of thermal imagers you can get. Maybe somebody's going to listen to this and then guess what they're going to do? They're going to go get on the WW and start doing some research before they
And
go
and
to
that's
the
what I want to
internet.
do.
Yeah.
You throw the data out there, and when your ears perk up, you're gonna research it because you're interested.
Hmm.
Because you'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Let me see about this real quick. Let me read into it.
And
And
like
I'll
you
tell
were
you,
saying earlier,
I
if
yeah.
somebody does that, that's a win.
Oh,
Conversation
100%.
we had is completely worth it.
Yeah. Social media is a double-edged sword. Um, I think that it is. I actually posted this a while back because I just got tired of it, man. The back and forth and the belittling. That's what I hate. You know. Yeah.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I think everybody should have an opinion on something. I'm
Oh
down
yeah.
with that. Okay. But you know what opinions are, right? It's
Hmm.
your point of view. It's not a fact. It's a point of view. All right. And I tell everybody, everybody's opinion is how you feel about this subject. It's not a fact. It's how you feel about something. So my thing is like if we can use social media like I did, I'm just using me like when I first started because that's what I've done is I use social media and I got to meet some of the best people in the world in the fire service. And that's how I got sucked in to actually start learning more and more and more, you know. And I could throw names out there like, well, of course, Andy and Kill the Flashover and everybody with there. I could talk about Steve Prisborowski. I could talk about Ryan Pennington. I could talk about John Dixon. I could talk about John Hayowick. I could talk about Jim Moss. I could talk all these people when I first started. I reached out to them through the social media and that's how I got connected to them, and that's how I was able to use them as a resource because they cared and they wanted to give you the information. And how else would they get on the information if we didn't have the social media there to give it to me? Because I wouldn't have
Exactly.
known them. I wouldn't have known them. And then you know what would happen? Honestly, we'd go right back to, well, this is the way we've always done it. And the reason why is because we ain't seen anything outside of it.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's good. I just think that, and to be honest with you, that's not the bashing and stuff. That's not a social media problem. That's a personal problem.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's a social media problem. I think people are the problem overall. You know, and how they treat other people. It's a different world.
I
You
I
know.
li- I say I think it's good because you know, just like you say, it's got bad points because everybody's got an opinion. Anything else, I can lay opinions to the same thing through my world. What I relate to mostly is instruction. Is anything I talk about in a classroom is theory until we put our hands on it.
Always,
And you know,
always.
we can talk about it all day long, but until like doing a lecture on
It's
thermal,
theory. Yep.
it's theory until you get inside that building and they can look up and watch that flow path run.
Yep.
Then it
You got to
clicks.
put it to your fingers.
Yep. Now, but the cool thing about social media and using a platform for all of them that are available, I'll go ahead and throw it out. Look at the platform Fire Engineering and Firefighter Nation has. Look at how much knowledge you have at a mouse click to be
Oh
able to
yeah,
listen
absolutely.
to everything and then you can listen to it, go back and research it, form your own thesis on what's going on with it, and learn and bring it back to your firehouse. It's just you know the world has changed so much than whenever we learned with the little 35 millimeter drop cassettes that went in. You got it, you kids think
I'm
PowerPoint,
dying right
man.
now.
PowerPoint ain't crap. When you had those circle diskettes, it's like, had those little,
The picture slides and the freaking
yes.
the overhead projectors and
Yeah, if you wanted to screw with the instructor, you pulled a couple of them out and got them out of sequence. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. No, but guess what? Technology has changed. So what
Yes.
do we have to do? We have to change with it.
We have to adapt. We have to
And
evolve.
thermal imaging is the same way. We have
Hmm.
to adapt. You know. So that was good. I like how you dropped that. You planned that. I know you did.
No.
You planned
Yeah.
you planned that technology thing.
So, uh, what was I supposed to remind you about?
Oh yeah, we're
Resolution.
good tonight, bro.
Was it
Me and
resolution?
you together. We're gonna go far. We're gonna talk about gains a little bit. You know.
Games.
Yeah. What gains is basically when you turn on your thermal imager. All right, you're in high gain mode. High gain is going to be high sensitivity. It's focusing more on objects than heat. It's going to be grayscale. Right. You're
Hmm.
looking at that grayscale mode. And if you look at people and tables and sofas, it's going to be nice and clear because that's what it's looking for. All
Hmm.
right. Then what happens is your temperature goes up to a certain temperature, whatever your thermal does. You know, Bullard is 500 degrees, has colorization. Now it has 300 degrees. You can make it 300 degrees is nice. FLIR's 300 degrees, Seek's 300 degrees for colorization. And um, and the reason why I like early colorization is because I want to know what's coming before I need to react.
Yes.
You know, because we know it goes from 0 to 500 in minutes and 500 to flash in seconds,
Hmm.
right? So I wanted to have a fair warning. Hey, man, I need to reassess. You know. So what happens now is that when it goes into this low gain mode, I always say when it gets low, you get low. All right. And what that means is that now you're going to start having your colorization. A little green triangle comes up in the top left of your display. That's saying the mode changes. What's happening now is it's focusing more on heat than it is on people and objects. So if you're doing a search and you're in that low gain mode, you're going to have bad visibility trying to find somebody.
Okay.
Okay?
Because it's
That's
trying to
why
find the heat more than it is the actual
looking
object.
more for the heat. Yep, it's
Yep.
focusing on the heat. So everything outside the heat is going to be less uh, visual or less bright or less. I know there's a word for it, but less detailed.
Works for
but
me.
but but yeah, but it's important to again to know that. So like if you are doing a search or if you are in a room, and you're doing your scan, and you think you're low, but it goes into the low gain mode. You could actually point your thermal imager down towards the ground a little bit more, so
Hmm.
that you're getting that heat out of the way, and it'll automatically go back into high sense or high gain mode rather. So this way you can actually start to look at objects and people again.
Okay, cool. So you can just point it down low and it
Yep.
does a reset. Basically, it's like hitting a reset real fast.
Yep. And that actually changes on its own. You don't have to do anything with it. Like
Okay.
the gain changes are happening with the camera. It does it on its own. And you have to press no buttons. You have to do anything. You don't got to program it. That's how it's made. All right. Now Seek came out, and Seek has a mixed gain mode. All right, which is new. But I dig it because it has high gain and low gain based on pixel by pixel. So what happens is that everything in high gain mode is still going to have that detail. Everything in low gain mode is going to have that detail of the heat. So you're not missing it up. So if you have, like I post pictures, you might have seen them, like me next to a burn box or me
Hmm.
next to a room that's on fire. My image is crystal clear, but so is the fire. Where if you look at a dual mode camera, the high gain and low gain, like FLIR and Bullard, I'll use examples. If I'm in low gain, I'm going
Hmm.
to look really different, but the fire is going to be crystal clear. So it's interesting. Again, technology is changing.
I
So
like it.
yeah, no, it's good stuff. I mean, it's all things that, like, I'm just trying to think of things that I think people should know that I could just spit out here to make it a little bit better for them.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like the fact of, information that you're giving out is great. And I want people to get hungry from it. I mean,
Oh
I want
yeah,
people to start trying to find out what's going on with this. And what room is Joe going to be at in Indy and all kinds.
oh, listen, all that I want people is just to get interested and look it up.
Yeah.
That's how I learn research and mentors, and I got hungry. But what else could I think of? I was doing something else I was going to say. High gain, low gain. Oh, let's talk about the scan.
Okay.
All right. So the scan. The thing about when you scan a room is you have to be inside the room. Okay. Because if you're standing at the door and you start scanning the door, you're not going to see what's in the corners. So get inside the room and do your corner to corner scan. So they have it now where the grips are up and down, oh, okay. I'll talk about this too. So what happens is that you have the if you have a handle on it, like a FLIR, or if you have the hold on it like a Bullard, the square is going to be bigger. Which way, horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, right?
Hmm.
So what happens is that you're now going to have to scan this room in about 3 scans to try to get the whole room in. Does that make sense? So we're
Oh,
going to do,
absolutely.
we're going to
Yeah.
make like almost like a Z to try to get that whole room in. However, if you take that thermal imager and you turn it sideways, the screen doesn't rotate like your phone does.
Hmm.
So what's happening now is that now my vertical is now higher than my horizontal. My vertical is now wider than my horizontal. So now I could do this in just 2 sweeps, and I could get the bottom half and the top half. You're going to save a lot of time. You're going to save a lot of. You're going to be able to see a lot more, and you're going to be able to make quicker assessments because of the fact that you're not doing that 3 scans. So that's just something I could throw out there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Um,
let's talk about. We know you got FDIC coming up, right?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, what have you got coming up between the big the big show in April and you're coming to see me at the beach? You're going
Oh
to be
yeah,
in South Carolina.
yeah, Myrtle Beach, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty. Yeah, I've never been there. I have an aunt that lives there, so that's gonna be cool. But I'm excited for that opportunity. I'm grateful.
it's a little north of what you're used to, but it's still salty water full of sharks.
Okay,
And
yeah, good. I'm good. And
but what?
I'm actually coming from the Great Lakes Fire Conference straight to that. So I'm gonna be
Okay,
bouncing. Yeah, so that's gonna be good. I'm gonna be on the run. So I'll be at the Great Lakes. I'm doing an officer class there on thermal
okay,
imaging, and then I'm gonna do a general lecture class on thermal imaging. So that's gonna be cool. And then I'm coming to do a fire behavior lecture and a thermal imager lecture up in Myrtle Beach. So that'll be fun.
cool.
I'm excited.
So is Great Lakes the only thing you got in between those two, or have you got some more stuff booked up?
No, man, no, that's it. I'm still working, so like
I can relate.
time takes off is I only have so much paid time off, and I want to use it to fix my head and to be with my wife and to not be here, just get away and enjoy life a little bit, and try to change the routine a bit. So I try to get away every few months or so, even if it's just for a few weeks, a few days rather, you know. And then I like to do one big trip. Me and my wife like to go to England a lot, so we
That's
got a lot
cool.
of friends out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
we kind of doing. I got a few just coming up, but uh, I mean, I'm in Papa mode right now, man. I'm going
Hmm.
back and forth to Oklahoma as much as I can right now. I'm loving
That's
it.
what I'm saying. And your time's important, man. Which
Yeah,
which brings me back to like family, right? And teaching. Let's talk about this real quick, just since I brought it up. This is why I like kind of talking like this. Just whatever hits my head, boom, let's talk. So like you're talking about family, right? What one thing I've seen, and I'm gonna say that I've experienced, is you are so sucked in to the whole passion of teaching
hmm
that sometimes you kind of forget about, and I'm not going to say forget, but you kind of neglect maybe your
hmm
family. If that makes any sense, because you're focusing so much on trying to get the information out. You're focusing so much on putting your programs together. You're putting so much energy into articles. And if anybody thinks it's easy, bro, I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's a lot of work. But, like, if you do all this stuff, all right, and you finally reached your goal, and you're like, wow, I got to teach in these conferences. I've got to write an article. Yeah, man, that's cool. But guess what? When your family's not there to cheer you on because you neglected them, we got a problem. You know?
and none of it's gonna matter because that's who
No,
you're doing it for. You're doing,
none of it matters.
yeah.
But I see it, and it's not like anybody's fault or it's not how it is. It's just that I think that sometimes passion, um, it kind of overtakes us. We really want to try to put out the best we can to make everybody else better. I would say that most teachers are not selfish people. We're actually
Right.
givers, not takers. And sometimes we forget to give to the right people.
And they were the ones that were with us before we got started most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who took care of my daughter when I was going through paramedic school. It was running the ice baths in fire school for me so I could get rid of that lactic acid because I was way too old to do that again. But but yeah, man, like they're there for you. You need to be there for them, and it happens. It does. So just like take care of your family, take care of your mental health, because if your mental health's not right, your physical health's not going to follow. And I know that it's a hot topic right now, mental health. I guess I know a lot of people out there are pushing it. I'm glad they are, because they're bringing awareness to something that we've always just kind of hid. Um, and yeah, even some of that hit me pretty hard, the mental stuff. But you get yourself fixed up, and your mind gets fixed, and your body follows. It's crazy how it works. So take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. You can't take care of your family. You can't take care of the people in the street like you love doing. So take care of you.
You know what, Joe? I was sitting here trying to think of what would be a great conversation ender. And you can't wrap up anything better than what you just did organically.
Oh, cheers, brother. Appreciate
I
that.
mean, honestly, because, you went from the passion of what you love to teach into the importance of us remembering and staying grounded and rooted, not just from teaching, but just in the job itself, being around our family,
Yep.
and and wrapping it up for say into making sure we take care of us for them. I can't think of a better way to, because you've seen the podcast and everybody listen. I normally ask somebody, the chalkboard's yours, write your message.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, you just wrote it with like a piece of chalk this big around. I
Listen,
mean,
if I had a mic right now, I'd drop it.
because that I can't I can't end it any better than way than that.
Well, I
I mean,
appreciate it.
that is nothing but empathy, humility, everything all tied into one through a career's worth of life lessons and passing on information to others from
Yeah.
stuff you've lived in.
And I'd rather you learn from my mistakes than you make mine. You make the same mistakes I made. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words, brother.
Yeah.
Damn, talking about ending it on a freaking down note, man. What the hell? I was all stoked
Well,
before. Now I'm gonna cry in a corner eating freaking bonbons. What are you doing to me?
you're looking a little wormy, man. I'm trying to get you some calories.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I lost 60 pounds, bro. I'm loving life. I told you, get your mental health first, and everything else follows.
There you go. There you go. Well, man, I wish you the best at FDIC. I know you're going to knock Great Lakes out the park. I can't wait to get to hook up with you in Dirty Myrtle. And
It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, everybody, guys, Joe Devito, check him out on Facebook. He is one of the best guys when it comes to breaking down a tech, how it works, what it does. Check him out.
I appreciate it, man.
He's the guru with it. He really is.
Andy's the guru, man. I'm just and Manford and Gavin. Those guys are the gurus, man. I'm just trying to make them proud.
You doing it. You knocking it out the park, brother.
Thank you.
Everybody, thanks so much for joining in. Thanks so much for listening to me and Joe kind of dabble back and forth, go from one extreme to another. But
I appreciate y'all listening for real.
Yeah, man, we had a good time. If there's anybody you want to hear come on the podcast, send me a message. We'll try to get them on. I want to make this show for you. If you've got somebody that's got a good message to put across for the world to hear, get up with me. We'll make it happen, because it's about everybody taking the time to put their message on the chalkboard so others can learn it. Until next time, guys, stay safe, keep learning, and we'll see you when the next person steps up to the chalkboard.